Okay, we are live, my friend.
See, you gave me some preparation tonight. Straight in with the music, like a pro. Music like a pro is the name of the show tonight.
Absolutely. Comment like a pro. I see you're wearing a cardigan today, mate. It's getting a bit cold over there.
Has something just happened? I think something miraculous has just happened. I'm not listening to you anymore.
No way. No, it hasn't.
The comments are coming in. What is about to be revealed? So guys, happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day, a great start to your week. My name's Gavin, the host of Crypto Like a Pro. Almost got that wrong. And here is the man, the myth, the legend. I've just got 2 words wrong in the first 2 minutes. I've been thrown by what's happened in the comment section. I'm not going to lie. Andy, please take over the rest of the show.
I can't, mate. I need you.
So, mate, how's your Tuesday going?
Going well, mate. Going well. Can't complain. I'm going to go for a nice run after this. I haven't been to the gym yet, but I'm doing very well. I know a few people are panicking because we had an overnight pullback. I've seen some of the comments in the group.
We're going to break all of that down, right? We're going to break that down. But yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, look, let's call a spade a spade. Everybody's got something that they can moan about, but if you moan and complain, it's just going to make things worse. And I'm learning that. I'm learning that now. So yeah, what is the point? And actually to be present with it, like what you were talking about yesterday, being present, whether it's trading or life. This guy's a pro in trading, and I would never try and just, I've got my own opinions, having experienced it, and obviously trying to work my way up the ranks from beginner and amateur. But in life, we've all got our opinions and our own expertise because we're living our own lives. And we can all complain and moan about stuff, but if we choose not to, then we can get past stuff a lot quicker. I don't know what your thoughts and feelings are on that before we dive in to the cryptos, but I guess it's kind of related, right? Like how do you separate stuff that pisses you off in day-to-day life and then kind of just jump into the cryptos? Is it one and the same, or is it 2 different things for you?
No, they are one and the same. I guess, truth be told, I guess I probably put more focus on my trading than my everyday life, because not that that's right, but just because it's my job, and I know that I need to be in that sort of state to be able to do my job well, to trade, to make money, to continue to grow my account. So there's no other way of doing it. If you kind of let your guard down and you let your, I guess, like your emotions get the better of you and things get annoying, and you bring that to the table, then you're going to lose money, and not just lose money just in one day, but you're going to lose money in general. So I know that it's part of what I need to do to be at my game for trading.
And really interesting, like we're not saying that Andy's the perfect role model to follow in everything in life. He's an expert in trading. Fashion sense, for example, horrendous. So never listen to him.
I've got wonderful fashion sense. Look.
I rest my case, guys. I rest my case.
I've got some lovely white Hollister shorts that you can't see.
Have you really?
With some hairy legs, yeah, absolutely.
I really never want to see those legs, mate, if I can help it. Anyway,
you'd love to, mate, but you've got to pay for that. I'm sorry.
Guys, this is your show, Crypto Like a Pro, broadcasting live right now on Facebook and on YouTube. And to prove it, we have one of our YouTube viewers, Nicholas Abraham. Hello, ! Loving your style, my friend. Janine Evans is in the house. Raj is in the house. Zachariah, thank you. Mr. Orlando made it as a model tonight. Big improvement.
Big improvement is the thing I would focus on.
I can show you my hairy legs if you want, but there's not much hair, so there's nothing much to see there.
You can't even grow hair. You told us yesterday.
I didn't realize we were live for that bit, but oops. Andrew's in the house. Lauren's in the house. Jesse's in the house. How you doing, Jesse? Dominicus is there. Facebook user, please click on the StreamYard link so that you can identify yourself, not just to us. That's the third mistake I've made tonight. Not just to us, but also to the rest of the group, to the rest of the tribe. And history has happened. In second place. Slavomir.
To be fair to him, though, he is number one on Facebook.
This is true. I think, guys, we found a hack. We have found a hack to beat Slavomir, the Comment King, Paul Bridgman, broadcasting and tuning in live through YouTube.
He found a way. He went on YouTube. He thought, no, I'm going to go on YouTube. I've got faster servers, whatever his conclusion was.
I never thought this was going to happen in my lifetime. You know,
it's like people that win the lottery. Oh, I never thought it would happen. It's just a dream.
I mean, look, come on. And even Slavomir's taking it in his stride. That's kind of a drunken man's party now. So what basically what Slavomir is saying, Paul, is the only reason you beat him was because he's been on an all-night bender. He's just got back from the casino, and that's the only reason why he couldn't type straight. I think that's what that means.
Yeah, that's a lot to read into a little picture.
I could be wrong, guys. I could be wrong.
I say.
I kid you not. I'm not right about most things, but I reckon that is. No, I'm reading right between the lines.
I'll back you on that one.
I'm reading between the lines on that one. Dan Tyler is live with us as well. Good to have you with us, Dan. So, Mr. Demi, overall market sentiment in cryptos, because now what we are going to perk our ears up and say, this is where we do listen to you. This is where we should be listening to you. What the heck is happening with cryptocurrencies?
They're ranging, as I said a few weeks ago, would happen. Now, I'm not saying I was right, but I was right. But no,
we kind of just did. To be fair, you kind of just did, mate.
But no, do you know what? Like, when you look at we'll go through the charts a little bit later in the show. But there's nothing that's surprising here. And I think, when was it that I was kind of saying, I don't know if it was in our private thing on Saturday, I was talking about Bitcoin. Anyway,
yes, on the masterclass.
I was in the masterclass. Yeah, it was on the masterclass. But I was kind of saying that when you look at what's going on in the markets, like, firstly, it's inevitable, what we spoke about before, that the market was going to range. That's what I expected. That's what's happening. But if a market is going to go back up, it will normally, it's not just going to kind of go bang down, consolidate, and then just after the consolidation, just go up, right? That just never happens in any time frame that you look at. What normally happens is one last hurrah. So it's like bang and then bang, like a V. That's what I kind of drew on in the masterclass. So that's kind of like, so that's one possibility for sure. Of course, the other possibility, we could be in a bear market. I don't think we are, but we could head down that way. I don't think we will, but I'm just saying that you have to be prepared. But if this market's going to reverse, this is exactly what you want to see or expect to see. It's like a push, fear comes in, people dumping, people like the smart money buying, and then you get that big spike and it starts to go back up and has left the small guy behind. That's typically how a market reverses. So if it's going to go and resume its uptrend, it's almost got to do that. And possibly what it's done today could be enough for it to do that. It might need to take out the lows. That's another possibility as well. But we'll we'll take a look at a couple of signs as well that
awesome.
we have to look at the objective things like that also point to the downside, which we will. And I'll look at a couple of cryptos.
Awesome. So just to clarify, because I know you posted this a couple of weeks ago or 10 days ago, just to go through this, I think now is a poignant time. I've kept this in my back pocket to kind of save for the right time. And I think it's now. Do you know what it is?
No.
Good. You're in suspense.
Yes. What have I written?
It's I've got some photos of you, mate. So it's the lowest Bitcoin prices for each calendar year. Now, I know you made a post, but I think it's a really good time to kind of have that discussion. So let's just go back over the last 12 years or so for the data that we have. So 2009, Bitcoin, the lowest price was $0. In 2010, the lowest price of that year was 5 cents. 2011 was 29 cents. 2012 was $4.19. 2013 was $13.29. And then there's a big jump. So the lowest it's not actually, I stand corrected. In 2014, it went down to 314.69 as the lowest for that year. And then in 2015, it went even lower for that year to $201.29. I've only got a few more to go, but I realize this could be quite boring, so please bear with me. But it's quite interesting. 2016, the lowest price was $374.06. Then we had a big jump up. So from 2017, the lowest price had more than doubled. So the lowest price in the whole of 2017 for Bitcoin was $784.75. And then in 2018, the lowest price was $3,232.93. In 2019, $3,385.43. And then last year in 2020, the lowest price was $3,822.81. So people are starting to lose their bleep for this, like you said, about this retracement. Guys, this has got history of crapping itself and then bouncing back up. I mean, I would absolutely love it if we went down to $3,000 again. But would anybody really buy it thinking that it's going to go back up to 60? I mean, this is the interesting thing about the world of cryptocurrencies, and that's part of what keeps us so enthralled, right?
Well, on that list, what was the biggest jump roughly, like in terms of X? Like in 2017, 2018, when it went.
You're correct. You didn't fall asleep. Good listening.
I was doing maths in my head while you were doing it.
Or you could say you're married and you have skills. You've developed your listening skills to stay married for as long as you have.
My listening skills are terrible. If you ask my wife,
she has the patience of a saint. I know that for a fact. So to answer your question, hello, Mrs. Demi. To answer your question, from 2017 it was 784.75, and in 2018 it jumped up to 3,232.93. So that is a jump of 4x, isn't it?
4x, yeah.
4.5x.
Wow. Do you know what? There's something really interesting, mate. That's very interesting what we just discovered. Shall I tell you why?
Please do.
I literally did. And I'll show that. I will show them. I did some analysis. And I made a kind of, I wanted to make a case for the bear side as well. And I made a case for a drop to 12,000, which is actually interesting because that's about a 4x as well, right? From last year calendar year. That
was not planned or prepared.
No,
we literally jump on about 2 minutes before we're meant to go live these days. So definitely not planned.
Interesting.
Very interesting. That's very interesting. So I guess we may as well.
Price, mate. But anyway, I'll break it down on here fresh. Like I just did it over here before we got on. It's basically, it's quite interesting.
So look, guys, if you've got any questions about your cryptos, the overall market, then obviously now's the time to post them. Andrew's saying, oh, by the way, Paul Bridgman's being very modest. It was pure luck that he beat Slavomir. We'll see next week. We'll see next week whether that happens or not. But Andrew is saying, is that 11,000 USD? Good point.
Yeah, between 11 and 12,000 USD. Yeah.
Yeah. So generally, when we're talking in prices, it is to the USD, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the kind of the bear market scenario.
Awesome. Nicholas Abraham saying his portfolio got rammed today. At least you can put a lol on the end. So let's see if we can help with that with a bit of the market sentiment. So overall, Mr. Demi, what is your sentiment on the overall crypto markets? What are we saying? Like, what's the overall market view from that of a professional trader? All joking aside, all banter aside, where are we looking at right now?
Well, it's kind of like, I mean, the thing is that when we look at the market, we're talking about Bitcoin. But what's interesting is that, you know, there's some cryptos that look way more bullish, and so it's like the market isn't even. So like, and I'll kind of show you a chart of Bitcoin, and I'll show you maybe compared to some of the others. But, you know, Bitcoin itself, if we looked at it objectively, right, without any kind of, well, there's two things. Like objectively, if you just look at it from a pure charting point of view, with no history, no facts, you'd say that it's going down. Like, truth be said, like that's what it looks like right now. But when I look across the market, I'm not seeing that across all of the cryptocurrencies. So it's kind of like, it's in between. Like, I don't know, like normally Bitcoin is going to be the driver. So, and it could be a case of like, you know, one is ahead of the other. One thing that I will say is that this period now is regarded as alt season, as we've been speaking about before. And I spoke about it last month, that normally altcoins should outperform Bitcoin. And that's what I'm seeing. And that's maybe why I'm seeing that on the charts, like Bitcoin looking more bearish than some of the altcoins. So history says that to be the case. And that's what it looks like on the charts.
On that note, mate, wouldn't it be really interesting, those figures that I read out, if you'd have done your job properly and put the month of that year when it had pooed itself, you could see, like, I wonder if it was always in alt season that it came to that low. Probably not during 2020 when the whole Rona was rampant doing its thing. But it would be really interesting to see if there was a correlation in the months that it kind of took a dump, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's quite easy to do. I mean, obviously, I just saw somebody's post and I took the screenshot and posted it. But, you know, I didn't do that myself. But it's very easy to do that. You could just break your chart up and then just go and find the low points on each year. And you can see when that happened, what month it happened. So that might be a good little exercise for everybody to do.
If someone does it during the show, please let us know. That would be very
well, not during the show. Let them concentrate. All the wisdom. But no, I mean, it's something you could definitely do. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting position right now. I think, like, what I've been saying is you have to be positioned for both things to happen. So what does that mean? Well, like if you're buying spot, which basically means you're using your cash to buy whatever cryptocurrency you're interested in. The reality is that you should be you're buying for the long term. You're buying and holding for the long term because you believe a project has got potential to grow, to be mainstream, to offer value to the world, and to be worth a lot more in the future, right? It's like basically like if you had invested in Amazon or Google at the beginning stages, I'm sure I don't know factually, but I'm sure they didn't go up in a straight line especially when they first started, when the internet first started, and I'm sure you had to sit through drawdown, right? So with spot, it's pretty safe. Like if you've invested money that you can afford, you should just be taking that spot and kind of forgetting about it, storing it, and that should be out of your mind. The thing you have to be a bit more cautious on are margin positions. Now, when the market is really strongly bullish or when the market is really strongly bearish, it's a smart idea to use margin because you can make a lot more money by borrowing some funds. But you have to be sure that you know the market phase that you're in. And I think the issue right now is that we don't know it for sure. It's not clear what the market phase is. Are we going to go down? Are we going to go back up? Well, at the moment, we're ranging. That's what we're doing. So that's the facts. So how do you make money right now? Well, in my opinion, what I'm doing is I'm buying spot as it gets cheaper on projects that I believe in. I'm basically, when I've got spare cash that I want to put more into cryptos, I will buy spot and I will store them and keep them. I'm doing less margin trades, but I'm doing more futures trades. Why? Because futures allows me to day trade, to scalp, to go short and long, right? To trade the range. And I can make money, build up my dollars, and then go and invest it into more spots. I don't have to even deposit any more money into my account. So that's the smart thing to do right now. It's not to leverage yourself for the long term with margin. Go on.
I was going to say what. So just to clarify for people watching, why is that the smart thing? So what you're saying is reduce your margin trades, just invest in spot, because obviously it's going to cause you less sleepless nights right now whilst we're in this yo-yo effect, or a range as purists would call it. And then not only spot, but also futures. Just explain why, just to clarify that.
Yeah, so, I mean, basically the way I use margin versus futures, I think that's important to understand. The way I use margin is essentially like the same as spot. So I believe in a project, I think it's going to go up. And instead of putting $1,000 on a coin, I might put 2,000 by borrowing another 1,000. I might put 3,000 by borrowing 2,000, right? That the exchange will lend you essentially for having some equity in its platform. So they will lend you the rest of the money. Now, that has been a big factor in me growing a modest account into a significant account. But that also that's the action that I took. I used margin. However, the conditions of the market were suitable for that kind of trading or investing. It's like a hybrid, really. But when the market is now in an uncertain phase, which it is, you're basically going to have a lot more of what we're seeing right now. So the market's gone up, you're happy, and then the market's gone down. Now, like I said, when you've got spot positions, you shouldn't be too worried because it's like this, right? If you buy Bitcoin at 32,000, right? It goes to 12 and then goes to 100. You've made 3 times your money, right? You shouldn't cry about that. And you're not going to get liquidated. And you weren't ever going to go spend it anyway, right? You were going to always hold it for a few years. So what difference does it really make to you? It doesn't. And in fact, hopefully you've got more money by that point. You can buy it cheaper anyway. So spot shouldn't really bother you. Like open P&L on spot shouldn't really bother you because you're looking at the long-term picture and you're just not trying to, you're just investing where you see value. And if you believe in the long-term merits of that cryptocurrency, then it doesn't really matter. But going back to what your question about futures trading, well, the futures trading, I do short-term trading. So I'm just looking for small movements in the market. And what's great about this current environment is that there's a lot of kind of like up and down movements. Very easy to trade. Very easy to trade. Like if something is like flying up or flying down, yes, you can buy it and go with momentum. And there's strategies that I use for that. But this environment right now is perfect because you can kind of see that people don't understand charting, right? But just based on like the panic that people have, like, you know, you're going to a resistance point. Of course, the probability is that it's going to come down in this current environment. Like in a kind of like really bullish environment, you expect it to break that resistance, but in a market range, we expect resistance to hold. So if it gets to resistance, find some reasons to sell it. When it gets to support, or it's gone down really, really fast, like that kind of like bang like this, it's going to get that little dead cat bounce, as we call it. You could scalp that up. You don't have to take a lot. You just get a little bit of that market. So, I mean, if I had nothing else to do and all the time in the world just to sit in front of my screen, I could literally churn it all day and just make money up and down in different cryptocurrencies. Like you could do it all day and you could be like, you know, you need a holiday at the end of your day every day. Like it is super, super tiring and requires a lot of focus. But that's you know, you don't have to do it all day. You can do it for 1 or 2 hours a day and literally just keep growing your futures. But it's good to just stay in front of the market if you're going to trade that way. Okay,
cool. Thanks for clarifying that. Just to check in with the comments, J. Pierre Laville, that's a cool name. I should have done that.
That's Italian, man. That's Italian.
He might be half.
That's
he might be a hybrid. He might be a hybrid. You don't know. Hey guys, watching on my lunch break. Are you in Paris or Milan?
John, yeah.
That is the question. Are you in Paris or Milan, J. Pierre? Let us know, please,
John,
my friend.
What do you think his first name is? John.
We don't know. You're assuming, boo-boo.
Jean-Pierre.
Wondering whether to dive in at these low prices or wait for a further dip. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that one, Kevin. And Simon asked the age-old question that anybody who even tries to use their system, how the bloody hell do you use Binance?
I wish I knew, Simon, mate. It's pretty complicated. Now, do you know what? It's not the. I admittedly, even for me, it's not the easiest platform ever to learn. But the reason we use it is more for the fact that it's regarded as the safest exchange. It's the biggest exchange at the moment, and that's the main reason we use it. Like, to give you an example, there was a platform called Cryptopia that was around when Binance was around, and that one was easier to use. Definitely, it was a bit more simplified, easier to kind of understand what's going on. I did have some money in that particular exchange, but that exchange shut down. So now, luckily, I didn't have a lot of money in it, but now I'm kind of waiting on liquidators to get that money back. So if you're going to keep money on an exchange, it's better to have a complicated exchange knowing that it's safer than to have one like that's easier to use but might go out of business tomorrow.
Oh, sorry, were you going to say something?
No, I will elaborate on what they should be doing with exchanges. But yeah, you go ahead and tell me what you're going to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of add to that. I don't know what your perception is of Binance, but originally they started off as a Chinese exchange, right?
I trust that that's correct.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard from someone in the crypto world. And where I can comment, someone that's extensively done business with Chinese people over the last like 4 or 5 years, they don't like instructions. They don't really, it's pretty much, you got to work out how to figure it out. And once you do, you write your own instructions. I made my own products, partly from China, partly from America and other places. Literally, I had to write my own instructions from the manufacturer. So it would make sense that as a Chinese exchange, they focused on doing whatever they needed to do to inflate the value of that exchange. Let's just say that. And it's obviously gone to where it's gone. But the essence of it is it's a Chinese exchange that was in a little bit of trouble. It's had a big helping hand out. And now it's the huge exchange that it is. So that's what kind of I've heard some murmurings around. With that being said, it still is thought of as the safest exchange. So what was it you were going to say about exchanges in general?
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing is, if you want to trade cryptos, you're going to have to keep some money on an exchange. That's how you trade. But when you're buying on spot, you can move them to more secure wallets. So if you have no intention of selling some of your spot positions, it's something you can definitely start to look to do. You can buy a hardware wallet, but to be honest, a really simple, easy way to start is to get an online wallet. They're much better than exchanges. So if you're not quite ready to invest in a hardware wallet, you don't need to. Obviously, it's safer to have a hardware wallet like your Trezor or Ledger, but you can do something like Exodus is one like online wallet. There's even Coinbase did their own wallet, even Binance, although the Binance one isn't highly regarded, and you can store your coins there and then just keep a little bit of money in your account to trade. I mean, that's kind of what I've started to do. I've started to move money off the exchange now. Because it's safer. And obviously, I'm in the public eye and I'm logging in and things like that. And obviously that puts my account at risk. So, and this is what opportunities look for. They look for these kind of opportunities to hack somebody. But even without that, people are doing that all the time. So like, you have to be really, really careful. There could be a virus on your computer. And if you could get hacked and somebody could take your money. So you have to be very, very careful.
Good question or good answer. So Nicholas is saying he bought Bitcoin at $58,000. Now, I'm hoping for you that wasn't on margin, that was at spot, and that those two squares that are blocked out are not expletives, should we say. So yeah, hopefully for you that was at spot. And if that's the case, then like Andy's already answered that question, you can look to dollar cost average in or down. And if it does come down and it keeps going down, then you can buy in if you believe in the project. Have I interpreted that correctly?
Yeah, definitely. The reality is that you've got, yes, of course, you'd rather have bought at a cheaper price, for sure. But with long-term investments, the way you could even spin it in a positive way for yourself, because actually you bought at 58,000. Where is it going to be in 3-4 years time, 5 years time, right? Let's say 5 years time, I'll make a prediction right here that we're going to hit 500,000 Bitcoin. Within 5 years, per Bitcoin, 500,000 per Bitcoin. Within 5 years, I will put my name on that statement that I believe that will happen. Whether we're going to remember to look back,
I'm going to put a timestamp on this. So,
in 2026, put in your diary. I believe it will be at 500,000 Bitcoin. Now that means that investment that you've made has basically 10x. Now that's not a huge amount of money, like 10x over 5 years. But what it gives you the opportunity to do is to say, well, okay, I bought at 58,000. If I've got some spare funds over the next few months, maybe I might be able to buy it for 30,000 or whatever the price might be. And your average price will go down anyway. So if you have got spare, if you've obviously gone all in and you've got no more money coming in, that's still fine. You just got to hold it. Because that's what you've done. You've invested for the long term. There's people that invested in Bitcoin when at the worst possible time, when it kind of ran up and hit 20,000. I remember back whenever it was, 2017, or it was even before. And then they were like, "Oh my God, I've literally bought the top. It's gone down to 3,000." But if they held it, they'd be in profit now. Obviously. And that's what I mean, sometimes people ask me, like, is trading difficult? Like, is investing difficult? It really isn't. It's what we were talking about yesterday in yesterday's show. But this is the difficult part. It's like having sort of like holding your nerve and like just focusing on these facts that I'm saying, that there's a very high chance that in the next few years your investment's going to be a really sound investment. By the way, you can actually if you want, you can earn interest on your Bitcoin as well. You can stake your Bitcoin and you can earn interest on it. So I don't know how much he's bought, but something like about 5% you can earn.
That beats the bank by a big amount, right?
Absolutely. So
I mean, let's look at the opportunity of that, because I know property investors that will be happy with 5% return, and look at the risk that they're taking on investing. Yes, I know that again, though, it's the same thing, right? The property market, it has its ups and downs and its swings. But if you look at the life cycle of a property over every 20, 25 years, it kind of doubles, right?
Exactly that. So it's like, even if you were a bad investor is much better than no investor.
Wow.
Right?
A bad profitable investor.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, like, if you don't time the market, but you hold on, like you'll be absolutely fine, rather than somebody else who doesn't ever invest and just keeps their money in their bank.
Especially this is a good point. Sorry to cut you off, but with inflation and everything that's going on, keeping your money in the bank is just doing nothing for us, is it? But we have to find somewhere that we believe is safe, because the notion is that we still believe that the banks are safe, even though they're allowed to take. We're insured, FIDIC insured up to 250K, I think it is, per account. They can legally go in and take money from our bank account. That's a law that's been signed into place, which is a whole separate another conversation, which maybe we can do a separate mini piece on, if you want, in the group, just to kind of see what people think about that. And maybe we could do pieces like that for sure. But if you don't know about that, it's definitely something. Look at, where was it? It was Cyprus, wasn't it? Cyprus that happened.
I did that to my family. That took.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of money. Yeah, so I know it firsthand, and that's why I think cryptocurrency, especially the DeFi space, is going to completely change the way we do stuff. We won't ever be reliant on banks anymore, and that's why, in my opinion, that's the category. If you're going to pick one category, that's the category to invest in, because it's clear as day that the current system does not work, and it doesn't work for people, and it's ancient, and this is a real solution that is really easy to see, that blockchain technology is going to make a huge difference. And within that DeFi space, there's so many different things like that. There's insurance, there's lending, right? There's not just lending, but also there's companies setting up on how to actually build the infrastructure. There's so many different things that within that space. So that, for me, that offers the biggest potential for growth, because I think it's like the internet. I think in the next few years, I'm not saying banks are not going to be there. They're going to have to adapt. They're going to have to adapt in some form, which I don't know exactly what that looks like, but that's what I kind of see. And so it's like there's so many things, some things I don't even fully appreciate or understand, like even non-fungible tokens, for example. But there's some categories that are just so obvious. Like, to me, that's kind of like what I see in the DeFi space. But
very interesting, and we could go on and on and on. And there's been some great questions in here, and we could go on again some more. This is where we sit, though, at the moment, guys, with the opportunity. So you can stake your cryptocurrencies for 5%. And there are other places that do more than that, but whether that's sustainable, because they try and get you in and they offer these big margins, big percentage returns, but they know that they can only do that for a certain level of capital that they've got. But the point is now is that we have choices, guys. We really do have choices. And Facebook user, it would be great if you could click onto the StreamYard link and identify yourself, just so that we can see your name and your face, so we know who we're speaking to. But hey guys, I would like to learn trading. What would you recommend between Forex and crypto? I mean, that really could be a whole show in and of itself. But is there kind of like a quick elevator rundown that you would do to this person if you were trapped for 30 seconds in a lift with them?
I guess like the simple answer is like cryptos is in the now, and they offer you the opportunity to invest as well as trade. Forex is a more established market, and therefore at this stage, at this moment, in this moment as we speak, it's a more stable market. So in a way, it's less heart in mouth to make money. So I would say for a beginner, Forex is easier to begin with. But if it was me choosing, I'd go with crypto.
And why is that? Why? I know you've just kind of given an overview, but for you personally, why would you say that?
Because I see crypto as the future. I see FX as the present. So yeah. I want to learn I would want to learn as much as I could about the future of what I think currency is going to be. So for that reason. Also, because of the volatility that you get in cryptos, once you are savvy in the markets and you understand how markets work and you're clear about how to make money, the volatility is going to help you. Every trader, you ask them, they want volatility. Like, if there's no volatility, we can't make money. If everything just stood still, we can't make money. We literally need another job, right? So we need volatility. It's just for a newbie, sometimes it can be a little bit daunting, and which is why we have our group, which is why we have, our master classes and the support that we offer, because you need that. You need that guidance and that support. But the best thing I think would be is, like, on a case-by-case basis, maybe speak with one of our team. Somebody can reach out to you and maybe they can help you make a suggestion depending on your personal circumstances.
And just to kind of give a balanced opinion on that, I'm someone who's new to trading, and I've experienced both. I agree with what Andy's saying, like 100% cryptos is the future. In my mind, I had a romantic notion that I thought cryptos would take down the central banking system sooner than it is. I think we're a few years away from that. So for me personally, I wasn't sure about FX, which is why I wanted to get some experience in cryptos. And for me, it's been an amazing experience because now I'm very assured and very confident in the crypto market as an investor. So I love to invest in spot. For me, I don't know if you saw the video, it depends how new you are to the group. I have some skills in day trading, but I got taken advantage of by my own emotions. I made either 83 or 88% return on my investment in 2 days. But during those 2 days, my alerts on TradingView were going off at 8 p.m., 10 p.m., 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m. After 2 days, I was like, do you know what? It feels like an entity that's running me, and I'm just kind of all consumed with it. So it's interesting because I was talking about this with my missus, I think it was today or yesterday. I normally love fast-paced things, but actually going back and starting to have a look at the FX markets, as long as you can identify, it's a totally different marketplace, but as long as you can identify where the turning points are, actually you can take a lot of what you learn in crypto into FX. And what we're finding is there's some guys that have learned cryptos. Most people start with cryptos because they don't have as big a funds to start off with. They make the money in cryptos and then they look to go into FX.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, but also then people are saying, well, actually what I'm learning in cryptos, I can adapt into FX and vice versa. So like Andy says, it really does depend on a case-by-case basis. I'm just sharing with you some of my experiences from my own personal opinion. So with that being said, it is 1:45 already, Mr. Demi.
Already, mate.
And just want to say thank you to everybody that's still here, still tuning in live. We love your support and we love the comments. And it just shows the energy and the flow that we've got in this group, because without you guys, if it was just Andy and I, we'd probably get bored and stop talking. But because we've got you guys here, asking great questions, engaging with the group, asking great questions in the group. Andy and I do look over the group. We have been super busy working on some really exciting kind of top secret projects to do with trading and funding and things like that we're hoping to announce in the near future. But just letting you know that we do see the comments, and we are gonna be working out a way to definitely jump in and comment more in the questions. So keep them coming in, not just in the lives. Obviously, you know, if you've got the time, we can answer them more directly, but in the group as well. If you're watching this on the replay, don't be frightened to post your questions, because we've got some great thinkers and some great people in the group. And if Andy and I, or mainly Andy, can't get to it, then we will look to start finding ways to be a little bit more engaging and a bit more interactive. I think that's fair, don't you think, Andy?
Definitely, mate. Yeah, no, definitely. Something, you know, we want to help you guys wherever you are in that journey. So I'd really encourage you to start using this group, you know, and if you see any kind of spammers or anything like that, we really, really don't want that in the group. We are adamant and working super hard to remove them, because we just don't want that. We don't want people being spammed and sent links to Telegram groups and then sold some garbage. We just want it to be a nice environment where people are helping each other. And obviously us as experienced traders jumping in and helping you guys. You know, I want to be doing a few more lives in the group as well, answering some of your questions. So look forward to that coming. You know, so, and if you happen to be there, great. But if you post your questions, guys, and we see it and it's an interesting question, I'll answer it in the live anyway. So, you know, and I'll do videos. So, you know, we are here to serve you and help you. We genuinely want you to succeed. So, you know, don't think that your question is not going to be relevant or it's going to be a silly question. Believe me, if you're asking it, there'll be many others that are wondering the same thing. That's what our experience is like.
100%. And just to set expectations, we can't do that all questions for everyone, but we will be doing that. So that's awesome. So look, with that being said, it's time for trade setup of the week. But this one's going to be a bit interesting based on what you said earlier in the show. So let me just get the design up, and then we can go from there. Okay, boom. Crypto Like a Pro Trading Masterclass with Andy Demi.
Okay, right. So let me do a screen share, guys. One sec, I'll bring it in. So I'm going to just have a look at the big boys today. Let's.
Oh, you got your fireman calendar in the background, have you?
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Right. Let's do a screen share. Okay. Right. No spamming. Yes, delete them. We do our best, but do report them, guys, if you see anybody spamming. Right. Let me bring in Bitcoin so we can kind of break this down.
So just to look into this question from Alexandros Rafatopoulos, did I even pronounce that half correctly? Is the dip done? So good timing. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube. We are broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube. Andy's about to answer that question, hopefully.
Yeah, we did touch upon it earlier as well, but we'll literally break this down now. So one thing, guys, if you're using TradingView and you type in your coin and if you just kind of click enter, what will happen is it will select the first one that comes up. So in this case, like BTC USDT, it would actually just select Binance as the where the feed comes. So with TradingView, basically it allows you to look at the price on different feeds. Why am I telling you this? Because what I noticed is actually you get a little bit more data for Bitcoin on Coinbase. So oh, not this one, sorry, BTC USD. If you do BTC USD, you actually get quite a bit more data. So I thought it was quite relevant to let you know, so you can see it goes back a lot more than when you put on Binance. So I'm just going to remove some of these drawings. Okay, and we're just going to kind of look at this from a pure sort of technical point of view. Now, what I've got here is I've got two moving averages, the two most important and looked at moving averages on the daily chart, which is the 200 moving average and the 50 moving average. So generally speaking, if the market is below the moving averages, that's a bearish sign. If the 50 moving average is above the 200 as it is here, that's a bullish sign, right? So right now, that is still the case, right? So the 50 moving average has not yet crossed below the 200. So you could kind of say right now we're kind of in the we're in the middle, right? We're neither very bearish nor very bullish. Now, what happens sometimes is, you know, the market kind of overreacts, and then we potentially, you know, we range or we start to go back up, right? So right now, the only thing that we have as a fact is that we are continuing to range. So I think it's important that you build the case for both sides. Look, you know, if you look at this from a pure technical point of view, you could definitely see that there is some bearish signs, right? So you're making these like, you know, if you kind of just draw the facts like this, right? You've got low point, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So what needs to happen for us to resume this uptrend? Well, really, officially speaking, we've got to take out this high, like where you could actually be quite confident that we're on our way back up. Now, that's quite a long move away, right? So by that point, you've probably missed a lot of the move. So, you know, you can definitely, that's kind of what I was saying at the beginning of the show. Trading this right now makes a lot of sense. And I think if you're somebody who can afford it, dollar cost averaging in also makes a lot of sense. So just buying it as it gets cheaper. So if it does happen to go lower, then you can definitely use that to your advantage to buy cheaper as well. And then, like we said before, you could be looking to hold this in the long term. Now, I just want to show you something quite interesting. Now, when I bring in Ethereum, this is above its 200, and it's actually held on its 200, right? Let's have a look at Matic as another example. Matic, right? It's also above its 50 and above its 200. And you can clearly see the 50 is really nicely above its 200, right? This as if you're looking at this alone, you're thinking this is really bullish. In fact, look at this. I think I brought this up a couple of weeks ago. It's perfect. It's perfect price action. Nice increase in volume on the way up. Nice drop in volume on this way down. Consolidation. Looks absolutely perfect for a rise up. So what about Cardano? Look at that. Above it's 200. Above it's 50. Now, do I think it's likely that Bitcoin is going to go down and all of these are going to go up? No, I don't. Now, what we're talking about when we speak about alt season, we're speaking about altcoins outperforming Bitcoin, but that normally means they're still all kind of going up or one's going sideways, right? So whilst Bitcoin was going up and hitting 60,000, you're not going to find Ethereum going down. It was like, I don't know if I can't put them. I can't remember how. Oh yeah, we can do this. Hold on. Let me see something here. Compare. Oh, it kind of does it like that. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to kind of to see, but you can see they're generally moving the same way. One obviously had a bigger move than the other. It's hard to see it like this, to be quite honest. But the point is that it's unlikely that you're going to see Bitcoin going all like down and then Ethereum breaking its highs, right? It's just very unlikely to happen that way. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is that yes, Bitcoin, if I'm looking at this in isolation, I don't know how to get rid of this compare thing now. Jesus Christ. Oh, here we go. Yeah, if I'm looking at it in isolation, then yes, I can make the case for the bear side. And I'll just show you how I came up with the idea. So if it does go down, then let me, in fact, let me go back over here.
I mean, just while you're doing that, just looking at that chart now, and obviously the knowledge that I do have, you can see why people are making a case for that 25,000 mark, can't you?
Yeah, I mean,
but you're saying that you're going to show us now why it could potentially go down to 11,000 before it goes back up, right?
Well, I will show you that as a possibility, yes. So the sort of 12,000 was more to do with the Fibonacci. So I just literally I did my fibs before we got on, and I thought, okay, that's it. I just wanted to see if there was like a cycle completion somewhere, and what I saw was, I believe if I did, I mean, hopefully I've done it correct because, yeah, so you've kind of got, and I'm going to give you another scenario as well, actually, that could definitely play out, which might make more sense, in my opinion. I'll tell you what. So firstly, let me make the case for this. Look, we have a market that's gone from here to here, pulled back to its 38.2, and then potentially it's got the potential to go back into this zone down here, which is around 11,000, right? That's a potential, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. But that is the bear side argument. So if I was sitting here and you said to me, listen, make a case for the bear, you have to be a bear on this. That's my case. I'd also say that we've broken this trend line. And as we know in the markets, there's the potential that when the market's going to go down to the next trend line. So you could argue that we could go down towards like this old little bit of resistance here, right? Now, I think with everything that we're seeing across the board, unless that picture changes, like most cryptos are just pulling back to their normal moving averages. Bitcoin is one of the few that I've seen that is below its 200. I'm more inclined to believe that the next 2 months are going to be bullish. And that's what history tells us. So there is a chance that we could get 2 bullish months and then the market corrects. That's a possibility as well. We can do...
But that's a pretty compelling case, mate, where the 200 moving average and that trend line and the classic anti-Demi that what was support is now becoming resistance. That's had like 2 goes to try and get through that, hasn't it? That trend line and that 200 moving average.
It has, yeah. No, it is a compelling case. But I don't know why, but I mean, what's that? 20. So I don't know, but my feeling about this is that we're gonna go up and rally and we're gonna reach these highs up here. And I'll tell you so I think we're gonna at least get to here. But of course I could be wrong, but like maybe even like I said before, maybe it takes out the lows. Like, so maybe it does that.
That would be awesome if it did. Unless you're holding it at a higher price. So sorry about that, but just as an investor.
The thing is as well is that's kind of in the sort of zone of that 25,000. That could easily spike into that 25,000 that we're referring to, that a lot of people are speaking about, and then bang.
And look where the old 200 is. I know it's more of an effective thing in your 18 years as an expert FX trader, but look where that previous 200 is on the old Fibonacci wave.
Yeah, this one here.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Do you find that that's as prevalent in Bitcoin as it is on FX?
I do find that, yeah.
Interesting.
So, I mean, obviously, here's the thing, right? So if this scenario played out, then at this stage, we'd assess it. Like, it could be that, okay, we're now back up, the bull trend has resumed, and now we're breaking highs and where everybody's happy again. Or we're the ones that managed to survive the chaos. So, like I said, I made the case for the bear side, but I don't know. I think based on history, June and July are normally up months.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, like I said before, you almost don't need to know. You just need to be prepared for any scenario. But if I'm seeing this hitting this line, spiking down, I'm going to be buying this up. I'm going to be buying Bitcoin if it's doing that. But I guess if you're in it now, you're kind of thinking, well, should I get out and get back in? Well, not really. Not if you're buying that spot.
Yeah.
You shouldn't touch it. Only the margin stuff, as we said. Anyway, I've gone on and on and on.
You have, but this is really great content. So thank you very much for that. And obviously market sentiment in the group. Let us know if Bitcoin does go down to 25K or 27K, as we've said, a potential here. Would you be buying in? Just put buy or no to let us know what the market sentiment is in the group. I'm going to put you on the spot now, Mr. Demi. So in the next week, we're currently sat at 33,000. As it stands there, it's just hovering just a little bit under, just a little bit below. The next week, before we come back to this show, what are you thinking movement-wise for Bitcoin?
I would say that by next Tuesday. Mm-hmm. What I find is that the dump normally, if there's going to be a bit of a dump show, it normally happens on the weekend. So we might see something like that on the weekend, and then a recovery Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it wouldn't surprise me if we're kind of just above where we are, maybe 34, 35. But yeah, that's kind of, because I still think it's basing, and I think it needs to kind of either just show some strength now, but this scenario here is very possible. Something like this, something like it.
Cool. Well, look, the people are speaking. Haley is saying she would buy if it drops down to that price. Nicholas, who's viewing on YouTube Live, would also say he would buy at that price. And Janine is also saying that she would buy at that price too. The general consensus is that most people would be buying even if it does go down a little bit. And I think most of us are saying that we do believe it's going to be going up, but just where is that price that we can get in for that ideal buy, which is really, really interesting. So look, guys, we've loved having you on the live with us. Thank you very much. We have gone over the hour, so we are going to bounce. Is there anything that you want to say before we go, mate?
No, mate, I'm good. Hope everybody's well and enjoyed the show.
Awesome. Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We will see you next week, next Monday for Pips Like a Pro, and next Tuesday for Crypto Like a Pro. Have a great week.
Take care, guys. You've got some audio issues there, mate. Sort the music out.
Good point, baby.